Telling an intimate story with an animal involves, of course, understanding what it's doing, but it involves a lot of teamwork. You're speaking to scientists, and in conjunction with the producer, you're discussing how you're going to achieve things. So that combination of collaborative work is what allows you to create the sort of images that we finally get.
The animals who are filmed for Hostile Planet have to survive in incredibly tough conditions, but they're adapted to it. The crew, on the other hand, that's a whole different ballgame.
Making a series like Hostile Planet wasn't simple. We filmed on every continent on Earth, with over 270 people on our crews. And it took us over 3 years to make.
Prior to a shoot, there's a clear intention of what we're trying to achieve, and it depends a lot on the sequence. Some sequences you won't know exactly what you're going to get. I mean, you have to just film what you see. It's very much an observational style of shooting. With some sequences, for instance, I did a sequence with this cordyceps fungus that infects ants. It's a small creature, so even though many of the shots took a whole month to film, some of the time lapses, the nuts and bolts of the sequences we could work on, and we could script, and we can actually storyboard a lot of that. And there's a lot of forethought that goes into those sorts of sequences, really giving it a much more sort of cinematic feel and a creative opportunity for someone like me to actually put a sequence together which has had some thought. Often what might seem simple on screen actually takes a lot of time and a lot of energy out in the field. So the choices of equipment we use depend very much on what we're filming. We rarely try and approach it like you would with a feature film, but needing to reconfigure things for natural history. So we'll take equipment which is used regularly, but then do a few changes that make it actually practical in the field. So we're continuously sort of creating our own bits of equipment, often a medley of different bits all sort of put together. So I'd say often on a shoot we'll create a shot that has never really been done before with any equipment, because we've muddled a whole lot of new gear together that hasn't been configured in that way, that's allowing us to observe things that we couldn't observe before. It's storytelling at the end of the day. If you can grip people with a story that evolves, and photographically, if the story can evolve, both shot to shot but over a sequence, and ideally over a whole film, that's the most rewarding. And often in a documentary scenario, particularly in natural history, that's quite difficult because you don't have much control. If you're constructing something, you have control. You can make a shot evolve. In natural history, you have to really choose those moments or be very cunning about how you try and construct something. What I find so rewarding with natural history, each shoot has a whole host of new challenges which you've probably not encountered before. It's a journey of problem solving where you're like, okay, how are we going to film those for a month and keep the wind and the rain and keep the camera running for a month without being knocked or blown over? And you resolve some of the problems, but you have lots of things go wrong at the same time. I find the work that I'm doing exciting because I hope that through the work it really captivates people in the natural world and engages people with the natural world and leads to some form of preservation or conservation. There's so much to learn from it and so much to be gained just from an emotional point of view. Knowing that things exist, I think, is very good for our psyche.